Hey everyone, today we're going to be going over some washi tape techniques because I know you all have washi tape in your stash that is being unused. Now, lately over on Instagram, I've been getting an ad for the washi tape company like crazy, and I honestly wasn't quite sure if it's a scam. I'm very skeptical about ordering things from Instagram and Facebook ads these days, and so I decided to reach out to the company to see if they were legit, and guess what? They're a Canadian company and absolutely awesome. They have the most beautiful supplies ever, and I was so excited to receive a package of washi tape and pet tape, which I've never used in crafting before, so I can't wait to show you. I also have a coupon code here if you're interested at all in shopping at the washi tape company. It's a wonderful experience, and I will have the products listed in the description below if you're interested. So let's get started.
So if you don't know what washi tape is, it's essentially a decorative tape. It's meant to be not necessarily permanent, but sticky enough to stay on your projects, things like gift wrap, bullet journals, and all sorts of things. You'll find washi tape being used. Now, the pleasant thing about the washi tape company you'll see here is it comes on a transfer tape. And this is really great because a lot of the washi tapes that I've had in the past over time break down and end up completely sticking, and you can't get anything off the roll and it just starts to rip and tear, or it's just lost its stick entirely. So that transfer tape is going to eliminate that issue. And the cool thing about the washi tapes as well from the washi tape company is that there's a wide variety of them as well. So you have that sort of translucent white look that's typical to washi, but then you also have things like washi tape stickers. And they also have several options where it comes in the washi tape with that sort of translucent white background, but then also ones that come on PVC tape, so they're nice and clear and they can be used over top of pattern paper or cardstock, and really, really cool designs. You'll also notice that some of them are shiny, they have embossed looks and texture. I mean, just take a look at this one here and how gorgeous that is. All right, enough drooling over the washi. Let's get into the different things that you can do with it. I created a ton of different cards today that I'm excited to show you. So first of all, you can treat it kind of like pattern paper. Just add it to your paper and create yourself your own pattern paper. Also, don't be shy to alternate between different types of washi tape, create little strips, a striped pattern, things like that, and you'll go really far with your washi tape. Another thing that you can do is you can trim out areas of your washi tape. Don't fear about being exact about this or anything, but I just go around the washi tape here and treat it like a sticker. And because this is on transfer tape, it does have a sticky background already, so I don't have to worry about any sort of gluing. And I do recommend that you sort of overlap the sides a little bit. It'll just give it a little bit more strength if you have it taped as well onto the background and prevent any chance of it coming up. But I have to say the washi tape from the washi tape company is extremely strong. I didn't have that issue at all, but I have had issues in the past with other brands. This is absolutely stunning. You can create yourself clusters, create this like pattern paper, and beautiful embellishments for journals, for card making, scrapbooks, whatever. One of my most common card designs I would say is adding a strip of color on the left side here and then adding some embellishments on top. And washi tape does the trick for this as well. You can create beautiful backgrounds this way. The other thing that you can do, of course, is to grab yourself some clusters. So I found using an X-Acto knife and just kind of piercing the transfer tape at the back easiest to remove the backing. The washi tape came off easily with my fingers, but I did find I needed a little bit of help with pointy tweezers or an X-Acto knife for getting it off the PVC. But you can add these as decorative elements to your cards. They're absolutely stunning. How about creating borders or things like that for your cards? This is one of the cool washi tapes here where it actually comes already cut for you. So that's really neat as well. So you don't have to worry about fussy cutting or anything like that. And you just fold this around the edge and you have yourself a beautiful border for your card. The washi tape company also has washi tape stickers, as I mentioned before, and one of the things that I really enjoyed doing was grabbing a whole bunch of these stickers and just creating myself like a collage or cluster of images. This is much faster than die cutting things like this, and they're already kind of colored for you, and it's just like stickers. I don't know about you, but I loved collecting stickers when I was a kid. Did all of you have a sticker book too? I was obsessed, and that hobby obviously never died or went away. All right, another thing that you can do is with the PVC tape, for example, because it's clear, you can layer this over all sorts of things. I'm being boring here and layering it over top of white cardstock, but think you could add this to pattern paper, onto tags, you could add this onto die cuts, things like that. So cool, and it sticks great, and I love the fact that it's clear. Another thing that you can do, of course, is add this to cardstock as a border, but you could also use this to die cut out of things like letters, sentiments, all sorts of things, and we'll be doing that when we finish up our cards in just a second. Now, when I experiment with things, this is how I go about doing it. I create a whole bunch of backgrounds or a whole bunch of the elements, and then I go ahead and lay them all out on my surface and just kind of plan the rest of the cards. So in this case, I plan to just do a whole lot of die cutting and adding my die cuts to my finished backgrounds. So what I do is once I have them all ready in that pile like you saw before, is I stack them one on top of the other, and you can see I have the card background and then everything that belongs to it on top. I have my sentiment here, anything else I'm gonna die cut, and then on top. And any dies that need to be placed specifically on the card backgrounds, I tape them in place. And this way, all I need to do when it comes to doing the die cutting is just a production line. I just do a whole bunch of die cutting at once, and it takes no time at all. Now, of course, the time-lapse button on my phone makes it look a lot faster than it actually is, but having them all in a pile ready to go, doing all my die cutting in one shot, grabbing my die cutting machine just for this one step of the card really does make my life a whole lot easier. And the same thing goes for when I'm done the die cutting. I remove everything in one step and I toss my dies onto my magnet here to be put away for when I'm all finished. It just keeps my dies all in one place, and then I can pop everything out and save myself a lot of time. Let's go through and finish up these cards quickly. So for this cluster here, I decided to add a bunch of little die cuts to it as well. It'll add some texture to the card to go along with that cluster, and I think they complement each other really well. I did cut off some of the stems from the die cuts just to make them a little smaller, but these sealed dies lately I've been using quite a bit. They're the perfect embellishment to your cards, and then you just simply add a sentiment and you're essentially done. So I hope it's okay that I'm going through at a fairly quick speed to finish up these cards, since it's just a lot of gluing and placement, but I'm going to do my best to kind of explain my reasoning behind how I put these cards together and why I put them together this way. Now for this background here, I chose this circle quilt die, which I really like, but I do think that overall, this was my one regret. This background was so pretty as is, and then I die cut it, and I die cut it in a way that I would get a 2-for-1 card, and I really liked the 1 card but not the 2, but that's okay. These are just learning experiences. I simply tried to keep as many of the die cuts in the frame as possible, and I added a glue dot to all the pieces that are going to pop out so that when I laid it over top of my card here, I could easily just push down on those little bits and they would all stay in place and glue perfectly straight and everything like that. And then afterwards I just need to fill in the gaps, and then all you need to do is just fill in the gaps if you choose so. So this background ends up with a super elegant, soft look to it. I absolutely love it. Lastly, I added a thank you die, and the thank you die I cut out of white cardstock, and then the thinner part of the thank you die I also cut out of the same washi tape, so it was the same color as the background. And as I said, for the second piece here that was popped out, I mean, it's nice, it's fine, but it's not my favorite card overall. I just find that washi tape details just don't come out enough. But like I said, it's all a learning experience and it's lots of fun just enjoying the process. It doesn't have to become a card that you love at the end of the day. The next card's super easy, just gluing some embellishments, thank you, and a few leaf dies. Because the washi tape had sort of a nature theme to it, I decided to tie that in with the embellishments. And you can see how that turned out here. For this card here, I wanted to play with the black and the white elements. The pet tape is clear, so it's already on a white background, and I thought just adding more black and white accents would be perfect, as well as adding a shadow die, so having the thanks cut in white and the shadow behind it in black really makes it elegant. I had to make some adjustments so that the stems weren't so long, but overall these clusters are just fantastic for this card. You can see the final look here, and I absolutely adore it. Next up for this cluster, I decided to add this autumn wreath to it. I do kind of think that it distracts a little bit from the washi tape. I wish you could see a little bit more of the washi tape. So I would probably cut out some extra elements later or maybe use a smaller die. But overall, the card is quite pretty. And that's the thing, when you're experimenting with things like washi tape or anything for that matter in card making and you're creating cards, it's okay if some of the final results are not your favorite things you've ever created. Out of this batch, there's 2 or 3 cards I don't really care for, but at the end of the day, I did a lot of learning. All right, this die here is a little bit different in that it cuts out a border. So it's actually cutting a floral border that is shaped. And then you can also have elements that you poke out as well. You can see I poked out the areas where it was mostly just white cardstock, leaving the areas that were full of the washi in so I could keep a lot of that color. You could also prop this up onto some foam tape if you'd like to have a shadow and really contrast that border, but adding a nice elegant die to it really makes a difference at the end. It's elegant and unique. Now this card here, the die cuts it directly into the card panel, and then you can just prop it up with some foam tape so you have a little bit of a shadow behind the thanks. You could also add a piece of cardstock behind it so that the thanks pops out even more, like a piece of red or yellow that would match the embellishments of the washi tape. And of course, the die cuts here, you can see you could use these, with any shape or any letter or any saying, which is really nice. But you can see I've attached the card panel to the card base with a repositional piece of tape. And that way I can get the placement of the foam tape and the letters, I can get them nice and straight. Then remove this whole panel and use it for a second card. So another 2-for-1 card, and always very handy. Here's a final look at both of these cards here. Super easy and very beautiful. And here we go again, adding these two things like nesting dies to cut yourself out frames. And because nesting dies come usually with 10 or 12 different sizes, you can cut yourself 10 to 12 different frames if you want, or you can use one of the solid pieces like I do just to prop it up so you have a frame around it, and then add your sentiment simply to the cardstock, and it's already a finished card. Easy and done in minutes.
Now, I hope your head is filled with ideas on what you can do with your washi tape. Now, if you own any sort of wide washi tape or you want to learn how to make custom shaker cards with washi tape, come meet me over here in this video where we will go over how to do just that. And I can tell you that several of the people that received this card told me they have it framed somewhere in their house. So people love these cards. Go check it out.